Good morning and welcome back to Le Daily Gaffer, your daily news stop for all you avid armchair gaffer lovers. Before I continue, guys, at the end of this video, if you like it, please subscribe and like it if you like it. And be sure to tune into our regular show, which is our Monday morning podcast, which is out every single Monday morning, come rain, sleet, or snow. Now let's get straight into it. The headlines today are this whole Gary Lineker match of the day fallout. So it was revealed yesterday evening, around about 6 p.m, that Gary Lineker was steps down from his presenting duties on match of the day. Steps down essentially means that he was told, yo, big man, you have to adjust because what you said goes against what we... Okay? So, for those of you who may not be too aware, he likened this new illegal immigration bill in the UK to... he said the language in the bill wasn't too dissimilar to that of 1930s Germany, and we all know what 1930s Germany was like. And he also claimed that, or he tweeted that the amount of people coming to the UK is nowhere near as much as other countries in Europe, which is true. Nothing he said was an issue. I've been doing my research all last night and into this morning, and what I can deduce is that the main issue is that the chairman of the BBC, forget his name, he is a main donor for the Tory party, and obviously the Tory party are in power right now, and so you don't go against those in power, especially if they also pay you. So they said, Gary, step down. Either they had no idea how big the backlash would be, or they knew how big it would be and said, don't worry about it, we got this with the BBC. Since he's been stepped down, pundits have come to his aid and stood with him in solidarity. These include Ian Wright, Jermaine Genius, Michael Richards, Alan Shearer, Alex Scott. These are just a few that I can think of that have tweeted their support for Gary Neville, saying that they may or may not have been due to appear on Match of the Day, airing tonight, Saturday the 11th of March. Either way, they won't be coming on. The immigration bill itself, so I found some information on it, Wikipedia, is the proposed act. So it's not actually a law yet, it's just proposed. The main focus of the bill is to reduce or end small boat crossings across the English Channel, okay? By ways described as pushing against international law. So they've got some numbers here. So it says English Channel crossings rose from 300 annually in 2018 to 45,000 in 2020. And up until March of this year, they've been over 3,000. And Gary Lineker said that although those numbers are high, essentially I'm paraphrasing, that it's still nothing compared to other European countries. I'm going to give my take on this because there's no point in me just reading all this information and not letting you guys know what I think. Was he wrong? The answer is no. The issue here is, has he overstepped the boundary? So I'm pretty sure Gary Lineker knows who's in charge of the BBC and also who currently runs this country. So I don't think he'll be surprised that there'll be some kind of fallout from this. But should he have to watch what he says? Again, I'm going to say no in this sense because he hasn't said anything offensive, and he hasn't said anything that's not true. He just made a statement, and he's likened language in a bill to language from a different time, 1930s Germany. I think the BBC here have dropped the ball. In a country where we promote, freedom of speech, they've essentially said, no. Just no. Okay? Is there any way back? I think the BBC will have to go back crawling to Gary Lineker, who's already their top earner. He's BBC's top paid star since 2017-18, earning 1.35 million in 2021-22. So if they're to keep Gary Neville and a lot of his colleagues, Ian Wright, Alan Shearer, Jermaine Genius, Mika Richards, and Alex Scott, I think they're going to have to offer them improved terms. But going forward, what does that mean? Does that then give Gary free reign on saying whatever he wants to say, or does he have a quiet word with the BBC and they agree that he won't do certain things, which for me will be a massive loss? So if I had to speculate right now, I'd say that the relationship is untenable, and this, for me, this is the end. I will be very surprised if Gary and the rest were to reappear on the BBC. Who's that guy? Who's Andy Gray's guy from beIN Sports? The one that hates Arsenal, Celebration Police. Anyway, they might have to get him back. Before we move on from Gary Neville, bit of his fact file. So he's from Leicester. So he's a former Leicester City, Everton, Barcelona and Tottenham striker. He's also ex-England captain with 80 caps and 48 international goals. He won the Golden Boot in Mexico World Cup 1986, and he's been presenting Match of the Day since 1999. It's a long time. It's a long, long time. Probably a lot longer than a lot of our subscribers have been around. But I think this is the end of Gary Neville and his role on Match of the Day. Elsewhere in football news, today's Saturday morning. It's currently 9:30 as I'm recording this, and the first game of the day is taking part at the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth. Is that where they're playing? I forget. Forgive me, Bournemouth fans, if I'm wrong. I actually came across a Bournemouth YouTube channel the other day, and I liked it a lot. I didn't subscribe, but I'm going to find it again. So I like what some of the Bournemouth fans are doing. I'm going to go for some predictions today for the whole weekend. We've got 10 games this weekend, and I've got my score predictions here. I've got a lot of away wins. Okay, so starting from the early kickoff, never back the early kickoff. Bournemouth hosting Liverpool. I'm saying 2-2. I'm basing that off Bournemouth's steely performance last weekend against the Gunners. And although Liverpool humbled United 7-0 last time out, that was a freak result. Let's just be honest. And I'm not too convinced that they're back. Also, if I'm not wrong, they will have one eye on the Champions League in midweek. So I'm going for a 2-2 draw with Liverpool and Bournemouth. The 3 o'clock games, we have 4 games today at 3 o'clock. Everton, Brentford. I'm going for a away win for Brentford, 1-0. I believe Everton are getting relegated. Leeds, Brighton, another away win, 3-1 Brighton. We have Leicester, Chelsea, one of my only home wins, 2-0 Leicester. I said in the week right before the Chelsea Dortmund game, I said that Chelsea are going to win this game, but it doesn't matter because they're going to lose on the weekend to Leicester. What I forgot to add is the reason why the Dortmund win means nothing, because they're not going to progress into the next round after this anyway, into the quarter-finals. So just to reiterate, I've gone for a 2-0 Leicester win. Then we have the evening fixture. No, it's not. Another 3 o'clock, sorry. Tottenham versus Forest. Tottenham have been woeful all season long. I don't know how they are still in 4th place in the league. 3 points above Liverpool, but haven't played a game extra. If it weren't for Liverpool dropping points today at Bournemouth, which I predicted, Tottenham would be falling out of the top 4 today. However, we've got to wait another couple of weeks. But they're still in 4th, not because they've been good, but because everyone else has been woeful. Woe. I've also said that I believe Tottenham, the issue of Tottenham, the problem, if you would, is Harry Kane. And I don't think people understand what I'm saying here. He's not a problem. Harry Kane is one of my favourite players currently. He's like if Lampard met maybe Inzaghi. Maybe I didn't really think about that one, so forgive me if it's a bit of a howler. But he's got a lot of attributes that midfielders have, and that a top marksman has as well. So I love Harry Kane, but I just don't think. I think that at Tottenham he forces them into a funnel, if you would. He makes them play in a certain way, which doesn't let them progress and evolve other parts of their game as a team. So I think he needs to move on, guys. I'm sorry, for the good of not so much him, for the good of Tottenham. So Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest. I've gone for a 2-1 away win for Nottingham Forest. The evening game today is Crystal Palace versus Man City. I've gone for a home win for Crystal Palace. I know, right? You're going to say I'm crazy. However, as bad as Palace are this season, languishing down in 12th place with minus 11 goal difference and only 5 points above the relegation zone, I feel like it's either they are a bogey team or Selhurst Park is a bogey ground for City. So it's either 2-1 Palace or 1-0 Palace. Okay? But I do see Man City scoring. But I see Palace scoring a jammy headed goal. Mateta, Hudson-Odoi, one of those guys. Yeah. On to Sunday's games. The first one, I think, no, there's not the first one. I think they're all at the same time. Give me 2 seconds. Sunday. Oh, we have 3 games at 2 o'clock. Fulham, Arsenal, United, Southampton, and West Ham, Aston Villa. Fulham, Arsenal 1-1. Unfortunately, because Trossard's injured for Arsenal, and Nketiah's injured. So if they go with the same front 3 that they played against Sporting Club de Portugal, then that was a Martinelli, Nelson, Saka front 3. I don't see them creating much chances. Fulham are playing bad. They had their first loss in a while last weekend against Brentford, who also held Arsenal. So I'm going to go for 1-1, unfortunately. Sorry, Arsenal fans. Man United, Southampton. 3-3. Rashford 2 goals. Ward-Prowse free kick and penalty. Yeah. West Ham, Aston Villa gone for another away win. 3-2 Villa. I think this is going to be a game full of goals. And the villains will come out on top in the end. And tomorrow's evening game is Newcastle versus Wolves. I've gone for another away win. 2-1 Wolves. Guys, sometimes I do these predictions the night before. And yeah, I'm not always thinking coherently when I'm doing my predictions. But I think all in all, I've got these right. I may put these on screen so you can see them as a reference. Before I call it a day, I do want to go through the day's football news. However, aside from fixtures and Gary Neville, um, nothing else really sticks out to me. I've just seen here on Sky that Antonio Conte, I'm ready to die for Spurs until the end of the season. I signed a strange deal. What the hell is this? Actually, what the hell is this? I signed a strange deal. I'm gonna talk about this Conte article from Sky Sports, and then I'm gonna get into briefly about the Richarlison stuff. I did touch on it yesterday, but I'll do it again today. So there's growing belief Spurs boss Antonio Conte, out of contract this summer, will depart before the end of the season. What the hell? Well, they think he's gonna go before the season's over. That's crazy talk. Antonio Conte says he's ready to die for Tottenham until the end of the season, but admitted the contract he signed at the start of his tenure was strange. I want to get the actual quote. So asked whether he wanted to stay, he replied, "You know my opinion and my desire." I'll speak in English, sorry. "You know my opinion and my desire. I've said to you a lot of times and during the press conference that the situation I have found, we are far to aspire to be competitive and try to win." I think that's when he said that the situation at Tottenham was a lot worse than he envisioned. For a long time, I've said we need time, we need patience, and I see that here the environment has no patience. Or maybe the environment does not want to understand the reality. Wow, the environment. Who is the environment? He's personified the environment and turned it into an actual living being. This is fantastic. If no one wants to understand this, and for sure I don't speak about my future because the club knows very well which is my situation, my thoughts. We can't do miracles. If I've become to people a target, then no, I'm not this person. The reality is this. There's more, but damn. Okay, I'll read this. I can't even go on. We need time and patience. I understood that here the patience was finished from the fans, for the environment, and then we'll see what happens in the future. This relationship is toxic, and after reading this, Conte must go. But Poch is not the man to come in. I genuinely believe Tottenham need not only for Conte to go, there's a lot of dead weight in that team. For me, Hugo Lloris is holding you back because he's not a good shot. He's a good shot stopper with a mistake in him, but he cannot play out with his feet. I've seen him slice many a ball into out for a throw-in. Lloris must go. Davinson Sanchez must go. Diligent B, Ben Davis must go. Eric Dyer must go. Yves Bissouma, I don't know what you're playing out. This is not good enough. Maybe Brighton was your level, but you must go yet because you just got here, so we're going to give you a bit more time. It's time to cash in on Son as well, believe it or not. Harry Kane must go. Problem is, correct me if I'm wrong here, Dejan Kulusevski is still on loan at Tottenham, and I think the obligation to buy is only effective if Tottenham qualify for the Champions League. If you don't qualify, he does not have to sign for you, and he can listen to offers elsewhere, as well as offers from you, of course. Kane, Son, you need Bentancur back ASAP. Lloris, Ben Davies, Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez, please. Okay, Richarlison, what is this? What is this Richarlison? now that I've mentioned you, I don't have it on my screen here, but 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, when Tottenham lost to AC Milan, Richarlison came out all guns blazing, seemingly taking digs at Conte. If I remember correctly, in response, Conte said, no, he's not talking about me. He said that he was shit, and he was, essentially. So, I don't know if that relationship between those two can be repaired. But what's Richarlison worth? Apparently Madrid are eyeing him as a replacement for Benzema, which for me doesn't make any sense because the level of quality between the two is night and day. Yeah, Tottenham have many problems. Many problems. Many problems. Conte, Richarlison, Kane, Son, Bissouma, the whole defence, and Lloris. If you ask me, they need a complete rebuild. They need to give up on Champions League aspirations for the next 2 years. Sounds crazy. However, I think they could weather that financial loss thanks to Beyonce and the like. What I mean by that is the concerts at their stadium. So, yeah, give up on that for now and just rebuild from the ground up and go from there. Guys, gossip column and then I'm done, okay? It's been longer than I intended. So, Tottenham's Brazil forward Richarlison, funny enough, has joined Paris Saint-Germain's France forward Kylian Mbappe and Benfica's Portugal striker Gonçalo Ramos as a potential replacement for Karim Benzema. Nonsense. I have not seen much of Gonçalo Ramos, but I like him. Juve apparently want Richarlison as well as a replacement for Vlahovic. I think that's garbage. I'm going to rate these rumours in terms of whatever I want to rate them as. Richarlison to Juve, garbage, not happening. Mbappe contacted Real Madrid last summer via his entourage and said he regretted agreeing a new contract with PSG and asked the La Liga champions to sign him. No. I'm going to say garbage. Garbage. Madrid want Mbappe, but I'm hoping they can sign him on a free transfer when his PSG contract ends in 2024. I can believe that. Harry Kane is United's prime target for the summer. I think that's a move that makes sense for United. He doesn't press though. He's not very mobile, but he's very technical in that inverted number 9/number 10 role, that in between. Zamorano 8+1. Ken will be a 10-1. Tottenham, though, are ready to include Kane in key decisions over the club's future as they bid to persuade him to extend his contract beyond 2024. I can believe Tottenham want to extend his contract. Roberto Firmino has apparently offered himself to Barcelona. He's going to be a free agent this summer. I don't know if Barca's the place for him to go to. Yeah, I can see them playing him in a weird position, somewhere wide or in midfield, and just killing him because he can't play as the false 9 because you got Lewandowski there playing real 9. So I think that's a bad move. So Gundogan is the most viable option for Barcelona, and I think that viability stems from the fact that they have no money. Former Chelsea boss Tuchel won't consider replacing Conte as Tottenham manager unless they achieve Champions League qualification. Yeah, and I think many other things. I think that would just be one stumbling block. And Inter are considering appointing Conte for a second time as they prepare to sack Simeone Inzaghi. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. That was today's Daily Gaffer. So we spoke about Gary Neville and his fallout from the BBC and what that means, and my thoughts on it. We also spoke about the weekend predictions, which I gone for a lot of away wins this weekend. And lastly, we spoke about Conte, Richarlison, and these transfer rumours, which most are garbage, let's be honest. Guys, if you've enjoyed this, if you've made it to the end, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to Armchair Gaffers We're available on all DSPs, Spotify, Apple Pods, Google Pods, all the pods. And make sure you tune into our main show every Monday morning where we discuss the Premier League's action. You've been great, I've been greater, and I'll see you soon. Peace.